Thank you very much, Angelo. Hello and welcome to everybody who is here still. And first of all, thank you for your contributions with the interviews to this task and also for being here to participate and listen to the webinar. Next slide, please. I would start with a very brief introduction, and there are some parts that are already mentioned by the previous presentation, so I will just go fast through them or skip them. So the motivation for this task was to address the challenges regarding transitions in the future business models and finding out what would be the value for the entire network and how could we achieve that as an ecosystem rather than developing individual single business models. So we know about the challenges in the sector, shortage of drivers, the need for decarbonization, increased amount of transport, and the need for efficiency, of course, and the level 4 CCAM freight vehicles are a mean to address some of the challenges and create new values for the ecosystem. However, if we want to have a values for the entire network, we need to co-create these business models that support different actors in doing so. Next slide, please. So in order to map the need for transitions, we use the business model canvas as a template to look into the different sectors that are relevant within this ecosystem, such as logistics, the technology providers, OEMs, and authorities, representative organizations. And we conducted interviews, more than 20 interviews. So our goal was to see in these different parts of the business model, what are the trends that we see, where are the needs, where are the values, and how could we tap into that in order to speed up the adoption of autonomous trucks by different logistics actors and the technologies that are around that. And then we believe that if we can align these values of these different sector business model transitions, then we have a starting point for adjusting our future business models, contracts, and bringing value for everyone. So next slide, please. This is an example of the business model canvas. I will just not say any more about it.
Can I maybe just interrupt you 1 second? I was informed that Paula actually has to leave the webinar, so I will take over the sharing of the presentation and we can continue like that.
Sure, so I can keep talking in the meantime. Okay, yes, so these business model canvases, they have 9 blocks, and we try to, through the interviews, see what does the block look like for the logistics sector. So different actors that we have interviewed within the sector, and we wanted to see what are these transitions are looking like for that. So if you go to slide 5, Angelo, so we have conducted the interviews, analyzed them, and here you can see a very simplified, summarized overview of these transitions, basically in different blocks of the business model canvas. A lot of us are already familiar, and you as logistics actors, you're even more familiar with the status quo. But if we look at the future trends in different blocks, we will see, for example, in the key partners that the partnerships that are already in place, they will likely remain so, but we see new actors that are becoming more and more of key partners. For example, the regulators, the public authorities, the ITS authorities, for example, they play a bigger role in the shaping of the business models of the future. There will be integrated energy alliances, and actors within charging infrastructure, operation and supply will become key partners. And then due to the transitions in the workforce, training partners that can help with the workforce upgrade and retraining would be key. And when we look at the key activities, so the key activities of the logistics sector will remain in place, but we will see transformations that will go towards more and more smart and predictive planning, operations, gating, charging, and scheduling. So basically more and more digitalization, integration, and the focus is on optimization of the different part of the logistics process so that we have the entire process covered, so that it's not fragmented anymore. And then when we look at the resources, there's a wealth of physical and digital resources already in place, but a key resource will be to have end-to-end digital integration, because one of the key values of the autonomous trucks would be to bring this integration and visibility. So this is a key resource. And regarding the charging infrastructure needs, we would need high capacity charging networks to support the high utilization of the autonomous trucks. Reskilled workforce with high digital literacy will be key for managing this complex autonomous systems. However, the skill set for remote operators that would be keeping the oversight and supervisory role is still needs to be clarified. I will move on to the customer relationship. So we will see that it will remain like a hybrid model that it is today, but it will also move towards more digitalization and autonomous booking, autonomous processing with human oversight preferably. But it could be possible that the relationship with the customers will maybe shift to other departments, and the role of those departments then will change as well. Also with the channels, there will be more digital channels and automated real-time data exchange. With the customer segments, currently the customers that are suitable for adoption of autonomous trucks are those that are well concerned with the green transition and concerned with the branding as being innovative and being green. And environmentally friendly, but also if you look at their characteristics, these are mostly mature customers with high value goods, long haul transport needs, and preferably full truckload, fixed lanes, low spot activities to begin with the adoption of AEVs or autonomous trucks. However, it is expected that the wider range of customers will also adopt this technology over time, and it may even expand to the inclusion of perishable and time-sensitive goods. The cost structures, well, we expect reduced operational expenditure with higher asset utilization, removal of labor, removal of maybe more admin-related work. I will answer the question later, Christina. Thank you. And then also we will see that there are still some uncertainties regarding the energy provision and costs of energy, but also the insurance premiums. So when it comes to the capex, right now these trucks are expensive because they're not mass produced. The technology is expensive, sensors are expensive. However, this might also reduce over time with mass production and improved technology, but also the return on investment would improve with higher utilization rates, but that still remains a challenge as of today. And if OEMs, for example, would offer leasing models, then the logistics actors could maybe for now lease and reduce the upfront costs of investing in the asset themselves. So the new revenue streams might be possible by basically lowering some of the costs. The increased revenue could be possible, but the new revenue streams would be possible through the additional digital services that would be possible through this digitalization and data exchange and integration. But we would also need longer term contracts to see benefits in the long haul. The value propositions, which is the focus of this presentation, is what we will continue with from now on. And basically it overlaps almost exactly with what Sinte was presenting. So yeah, addressing driver shortage, having these all these other technologies that come with AEVs that enhance digitalization, optimization, and help us benefit from real-time intelligent transport system integrations and dynamic routing are also additional values that will come. Having transparency in the end-to-end process of logistics chain and full traceability is a value that a lot of actors are really looking forward to. Efficiency, we know, cost advantages we covered, service innovation. So it will be possible to think about new areas of using these trucks. For example, expanding to night operations could enable 24/7 delivery, but also new digital services will come to the market probably. Safety, it's assumed that the trucks will increase safety, and yeah, sustainability we have covered. So if you move to the next slide, Angelo. Yeah, I will skip this part. It's so basically it's like a recap of the key insights that we have gained. In this table, we have mapped the values of the logistics actors and the other actors to show the resemblance, but also the deviations. And you have received the presentation, or you will receive it, so I will not go to details of this table. But basically, we see that there are certain key values that are shared amongst different actors, but there are certain nuances and differences of tapping into these values or how important they are or in what way across the actors. And if we want to work with business model innovations and transitions, first we need to find out, okay, when values are aligned, there's no problem with adoption of AEVs. Maybe we need to address the gaps, but if we could bring more alignment across the values of different actors, the value propositions for different actors, then we have a way to start working on new business models and new contracts to support the adoption of autonomous trucks. Next slide, please. So here I have simplified that table for the sake of this presentation. So in the middle, we have the value propositions for logistics actors. And just to show a little bit of what are the nuances for these other actors that are key in the ecosystem, I would like to highlight, for example, that while authorities are, they would appreciate all of that, but for the authorities as actors, the safety and compliance are key focus areas. So if the AEVs or autonomous trucks are able to enhance safety on the roads, that's the value that they would be looking at. So systemic risk reduction and societal benefit are what they focus on, but also data standardization and high quality bidirectional data exchange for road and infrastructure is what is important for the authorities. When it comes to the infrastructure actors, so for example, port operators, they would like to, the value for them is system level perspective with network traffic flow, utilization, and efficiency for everyone. So if they could use autonomous trucks as means of having better visibility and better planning, for example, charging on the port side, for example, so that all the actors that are using that infrastructure can have better planning and better planning and better predictability, the traffic flow will improve, so there is higher throughput through these infrastructures. So for them, it's about bringing efficiency to the actors. And then the strategic advantage for them, so the value for them to be engaging in this adoption of autonomous trucks is a competitive advantage, that they can show that their infrastructures are competitive, that they can spread the peak hours and congestion so that the infrastructure can be used better by more people. And there also alignment with the EU regulations and being able to benefit from fundings for infrastructure updates are very important. When it comes to the OEMs, their focus and value would be on the technology itself, providing really high technology automation systems, and not just hardware, also software, but also on the fleet management level. And these new ways of offering service, for example, truck as a service, and the other digital services such as virtual driver that would come with that is where they're tapping into the value. There are so possible new revenue streams as well, and closer partnership and collaboration with their customers. When it comes to the shippers, they prioritize product availability and service reliability. So they want to make sure that their end customers, for example, the retailers, they have shelf availability, and that, for example, if they have predictability and full transparency, that they know where the goods are, they can also plan for the warehouses to be aware. And so the entire process will be more efficient, and they can make sure that the products are available to the customers when they were supposed to be. So if you move to the next slide, please. So then ensure the shared values are great, they are shared, so there are no problems. So operational efficiency and sustainability, risk reduction, and increased transparency and digitalization. However, if we look at these different nuances, then we can also tap into the possible avenues to bring more alignment among the actors. And since we look into the network value, it is really important that the different actors involved in the network are collaborating more on aligning their values together. And this also resonates a lot with the gaps that my colleagues from Cinta were presenting before, because those gaps are basically also very relevant for business model transitions and how those transitions would look like. So when it comes to, for example, the authorities and OEMs, especially authorities that are concerned with decarbonization, and also OEMs, they would like to push the autonomous technologies forward. And this requires building, for example, charging infrastructures and having testing zones and ongoing pilots or live pilot opportunities, having the digital infrastructure in place, and also having shared data standards. For the logistics actors, for example, and the infrastructure operators, there are challenges in that when it comes to the high upfront cost of utilizing AEVs, and not everybody can test with the autonomous trucks in their fleet yet. But also the need for high investment costs, for example, and also slow permitting and approval processes makes it a bit difficult for them to jump on the ship.
Maybe it's best we jump quickly to the Slido, because we are achieving to the end of the webinar and participants might have to leave, so we can get their input. And then we can circle back to the presentation if needed. Yeah?
Sure, no problem.
Then let me share. So you can go ahead, Mina, and walk through the questions and the alternatives, and we can go on.
So in case there are also actors that have not been part of the interviews, and logistics operators from different kind of skills and foci, we want to know if these findings also reflect your perspective on logistics innovation needs or not. So focusing on the need for more collaborations. And okay, I see that it's yes. Maybe we can move on to the next question already, Angelo.
Yeah, okay.
We'll probably need more time.
Yes, this is the second one.
Yeah, so which of these values do you think should be prioritized for level 4 CCAM adoption? If you think about the business model transitions perspective, should we prioritize efficiency, productivity, or tapping into the sustainability, decarbonization push from the government, for example, and incentives there, safety and risk reduction, and transparency for the entire logistics process? Okay, yes, efficiency is the most important one, which is in alignment with our findings. I don't think anybody is answering right now, so we could move to the next part. When it comes to business model transitions, we have found out that one of the biggest ways to move the adoption forward is to tap into certain collaborations. So first, we want to know if you think that we need to focus on collaboration between, for example, infrastructure and regulatory actors when it comes to permitting or supporting, or do you think we should tap into the contracts and the new contracts terms that would be needed between the shippers, the logistics actors, and the OEMs, such as the contract durations can be extended and become more flexible to support adoption? Do you think that we would need more need for dialogues and clarity in the investment in workforce, and well, basically talking about how we're going to have this transition of the workforce, having a strategic, clear plan so that we are in dialogue with the unions and we can balance the benefits of automation and benefits of having human resources. And I see that everybody has already voted. Okay, so the contract, tapping into the contracts is the most important part, and following by bringing trust or enhancing trust, having clear frameworks in data sharing such that it is beneficial, ethical, and preserves confidentiality. So that was from the last slide that I didn't have time to explain. And then investments and talks of infrastructure and regulatory actors, their framework of collaboration. And then the last one is having clear strategic transition plans for the workforce. Okay, I think we are done with this part as well. So maybe I can just say something about our next session. That we don't have time to talk about that. We are, as our next step, we would like to focus more on the TCO transitions. So tapping more into the cost structure of the business model canvas to see how these TCO transitions would look like, and how would they look like from your perspective when it comes to willingness to pay. And also we would like to have a joint collaborative workshop on that so that we can reflect everyone's insight into the business model transitions and not just a few. So that would be the topic of our next workshop, and the invitations will be sent by Alice. Thank you so much for your attention.